Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar from Iris ID, titled Maximize Workforce Efficiency with Multimodal Biometrics. There's been a lot of changes in where we work. Factories, office buildings, and manufacturing plants have all changed. They've become more modern, safer, more convenient, and healthier over the last 50 years. Even how people checked in and out of work has changed. Pen and paper check-in gave way to automated time clocks and punch cards. Then employers moved to passwords and access cards. All of that helped employers and employees help keep better track of hours worked and wages earned. It was more accurate, but it still wasn't perfect. Payroll fraud in the form of buddy punching became a problem, costing employers and their companies millions of dollars each year. Buddy punching is when one employee checks in for another. Maybe the person's running late, or calls a work friend and asks that person to punch their time card for them. Or an employee might want to leave early and ask a fellow worker to punch his or her card at the end of the day. It doesn't sound like much, but a few minutes here and there adds up quickly. Accuracy also becomes more important as employment laws and regulations get stricter and more complicated, tracking mandatory lunch breaks and rest periods. Enter biometric identification. Biometrics are unique physical or behavioral characteristics. They are unique in that the chances of two people having identical ones is so low it is nearly impossible. Today, the array of biometrics in use ranges from fingerprints to iris and face recognition and palm and voice prints. These are unique to the individual and cannot be stolen or lent to somebody else. So employers begin turning to biometric information for employee time management. It's fast, it's accurate, and easy to use. Today's speaker is Mohammed Murad, Vice President of Iris ID, who will describe the benefits of multimodal biometric authentication for time and attendance as it relates to workforce management efficacy and cost efficiency. We will have time at the end for Mr. Murad to answer your questions. If you have any questions, please enter them in the GoToWebinar control box under the Questions tab. Mohammed, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Kevin. Thank you very much for the great introduction. We're excited to present the Iris ID's point of view for implementing multimodal biometric and increasing the efficiency of the workforce and clocking people in on time and paying them on time. So with that, I'll begin. My name is Mohammed Murad. I'm with Iris ID. I manage global implementation of sales and marketing for the company, and have extensive experience with the Iris biometric technology for over 22 years. So it's a pretty exciting time for Iris. We are talking to our customers. It used to be the question, why biometrics? Well, we went through all the explanation, but what changed in the last 10 years was the introduction of the simple biometrics off of our handheld mobile devices that pivot the entire conversation. Hey, we do need biometrics because we want to be able to identify individuals with the characteristics what belongs to them rather than having them punch the card, et cetera, et cetera. So that is one of the a major question was ever asked by our customers, and it took a lot of explaining. That question is no longer the explanation is required. Now the question is, what biometric do I use, or do I use multi-factor authentication to identify my employees? That's where we come in play, where we say, hey, what you use is iris recognition, so you can automate your time and tracking and reporting stuff. You have hand-free payroll exports to your system. You can completely avoid buddy punching because now you can authenticate them through using their face or their iris, where they have to be present to be able to punch the clock. And then also in some of the states within the United States and some other countries globally, there are lots of compliance and regulatory requirements that employer and employees have to do. So for example, in California, they need to identify themselves and then answer attestation questions. Did they take a break? Did they get injured, etc.? So what what our device does now and our solution provides to our partners is the ability to automate, to communicate with the back-end HRM systems, avoid buddy punching, and on top of all that, comply to the regulatory laws. So, those are some of the factors that people are picking up biometrics. So we'll talk about a little bit of our company and what our experience is. We have been in business since 2002. So as you can see, we are in 21 year of producing the technology and selling the technology. But overall, we have 25 years of experience between R&D and research, et cetera, for iris recognition. We are focused on anything to do with optics. So we basically produce products. You can take a good quality face picture. You can get a good quality iris picture. You can also send those to provide matching and authentication solutions. And we have a very broadest spectrum of applications that are used, the technology for identifying and authenticating end users or customers. And our vision has been just to focus on iris, and now we are focused on face. We provide technology support, marketing, and sales. We have locations in the United States. We have a development center in India. We have some development resources in Europe. We have our sales presences across the globe, starting from Korea, Asia Pacific, Malaysia, in Middle East, in Dubai, in Turkey to handle most of the Eastern European continent, and then of course in North America and Mexico for the Latin America. So we have a fairly large footprint from the sales organization, support organization perspective. So let's talk about the science. Many of the audience that they are here today, they may be the first time hearing the word iris, or they have heard the word iris, but they haven't really dived down and understood what really is iris recognition. So basically what it is if you look on the right-hand side of the slide, we have a total dissection of the eye. Basically, a lot of time people confuse the iris and the retina, and they use it in the same sentence. Actually, they are talking about iris, but they are confused about retina. So retina is in the back of your eye, which we don't do anything with. It will be very difficult to do that from a meter or 45 to 60 centimeters away, or in American terms, we 35 inches, or 24 inches. And then what we do is we take a picture of your eye. It's a grayscale picture. We are doing a lot of countermeasures, making sure it's a live eye. It's not a paper. It's not a paper or a prosthetic, etc. As you can see on the left-hand corner, as the pupil is moving, we're checking all those liveness things when we are taking the picture. Then the question sometimes people ask, well, how long does it take? Well, it takes less than a second to take that picture. So we are only concentrating on the color ring around your pupil. Those are there is a lot of information in that iris, and we say we have about 240 data points, and that is just scratching the surface. And as the technology improves and we get further down, we're probably going to be able to get a lot more data out of it than we do today. So with that, this is how it works. As a human, you're looking at the iris as a color iris, but as a camera, we're looking at a grayscale. Because with grayscale, we can see a lot more details than what the color camera can deliver. So we take a grayscale picture, we segment the iris so it becomes basically a little donut. And then that donut gets transformed into a template, which is zeros and ones. And that allows us to really have a small data print, which is 512 bytes that can be stored on a card, can be stored in a database. And there is so much information available that we can very comfortably say we can match an identity in the population of millions and billions. And we have experience in that. Now, from a technology examination perspective, we can say they have 240 plus data points. If it's an image taken out of our camera for the iris, for you matching one against one eye against the gallery size very comfortably against the 1.2 million. If you're matching both, which we do, it goes probability a threshold for that. It goes into trillions, and the probability of having two people the same eye is almost impossible. We have been doing this for a very long time. We have customers all around the world. We have never run into people with the same eye. Sometimes you have some issues, but those issues normally happen because the quality of the image was not taken right, and if you re-enroll them, you will never find them as a duplicate. Then twins, if you have twins, your face looks similar. Sometimes even the fingerprint looks similar. The two things different with the twins are their 4 different set of eyes and the DNA. So your right eye and left eye are completely unique as individuals. So between the twins, it's going to be for 4. And then, of course, this is the stability. So it doesn't really impact too much in the workforce environment because normally they're, young adults who start into the workforce, but it makes the difference when you're talking about large identity systems where you need to include the children. So iris pattern is stable from the age of 1 till death. So that's a very unique characteristics for our biometric, where face will change multiple times in your life, where fingerprints will have change a few times, plus they could be compromised because you're working the kind of profession the individual selects. Okay, so dive down a little bit more. Our technology can work with goggles, with face shields, with face masks. We have proven that it works through PPE, and I have a little video to show people. And then in the Middle East area, the women wear hijab and burqas. We have completely technology worked with that. And then on the fingerprint side, as I mentioned earlier, that if somebody's a bricklayer or a mechanic, their fingerprints are pretty much compromised. It's very difficult to identify them with their fingerprints. None of that has an issue with us. So basically, the technology can work in very challenging environment to identify individual. So that's why it's getting very popular with our customers to put them on the factory floors or workshops or any environment, where they have to wear gloves or etc. So I'll skip through this. We fit in many different vertical markets: access control, identification, time and attendance. Well, we are going to concentrate today on time and attendance. So from a global perspective, we have customers all across the world. We have deployments in every continent except Antarctica. So it's a fun fact. We have customers in cleanest environments, so that could be hospitals, chip manufacturing, semiconductor implementations, research labs, and you name it. The top of the top world customers are using this technology today. In the dirtiest environment, we have oil refineries, we have construction sites, we have cement factories for time and attendance, we have farms using our technology for time and attendance, and then some of the security applications where we provide our technology to government organizations or military bases, et cetera, and then very demanding. So I'm sure some of this audience that they're listening to this talk, they have gone through the airport and they've seen or used the Clear platform that uses our technology today. So we have our solutions available in many different areas with different demands for identity, from a dirtiest to the cleanest or rapid throughput. So this is another way of looking at it from a data center perspective: lab security or hospitals, infrastructure, workforce management. And then we have some hotels. We have health clubs. We have a health club in Europe that uses our technology to identify people, and they have 53,000 members. They do not issue them a card. They just go up, walk up to the camera, identify, door opens, and they go in. Of course, it's not a time and attendance application, but it is a demanding application, because if it doesn't work, customer will complain. So then we provide our technology in transportation security. We have lots of airports and borders, etc., government safety and public safety bases, as the water treatment plant, etc., and lots of civil ID applications. We don't need to spend time on that. So anyway, as I mentioned earlier, we work in some of the most difficult environment in healthcare. It doesn't matter if it's time and attendance or access control. You cannot achieve that with any other technology, what you're seeing on the screen, where the individual walks up with completely covered in a PVC suit and be able to identify and have grant access to their technology. So these two videos are live, for one from the NIH, National Institute of Health facility, and the other one is from a nuclear facility. So the point I'm trying to make with this slide is there is no limit for the technology to be able to use in different applications. Then in more sophisticated, we have Google, Apple, Microsoft, they're using our technology to protect your data. That is, you go into LinkedIn or you go into Google Drive, etc. They're storing that information. Those data centers are protected using our technology globally. They are our enterprise customers on almost all data centers of Google, Apple, and Microsoft. They use our technology to protect the infrastructure. Now, the clear, as I mentioned earlier, similarly, just walk up, look through, gain access to one-to-many identity, gain access to the front of the security line. So the point here is we can be used in a very sophisticated space or demanding space like Clear or Microsoft Data Center or Google Data Center or NIH facilities, or we can use for payroll stuff. So we have a very big customer, and you're going to hear little testimonials about them later on. We have a partnership with them. They take our technology, they build their application that sit on our technology, and we're going to go into a little bit more details later on. And that is a huge difference between what IT100 from IRIS-Time, IRIS-ID offers versus what other products in the market are available. So Paychex took the product. We customized a little bit of the software for them. They built their application, they put it on, and that connects directly into the Paychex cloud. So the individual using it, they can look at all their information and data right on the LCD screen about their 401k, about their overtime, about their vacation. And that is one of the biggest pieces that was missing in the time and attendance or workforce management environment, where the devices were built just for a specific purpose to identify. What we have done is we have made a product that's really an endpoint where an user walks up and they can demand information or what they require. So that's Paychex implementation. Then there's a little fun fact here. This is the largest farm association or a company, Endülübe, based in Turkey. It's one of Europe's largest producer of fruit juices, emulsions, etc. And they use our technology. You have over 10,000 seasonal workers that they go through their farm on an annual basis using iris recognition for time and attendance. So it's pretty cool, from a very high end to very low tech, but it is something that we need. This is the food that is produced for our consumption. So they have saved a lot of money using our technology because now they know exactly how many people were at that farm on that particular day. So they will only pay for the time that they were there and working, rather than taking the word of the supervisor or the contract workforce manager. Then we have lots of factories, cement factories across Africa using our technology for identifying customers. It's called Dangote. It's one of the largest conglomerate in Africa, African-based. So they have a central location in Lagos, Nigeria, and all those cement factories are connected to SAP. All transactions coming out of our system, they go to the SAP, and that's how they collect or calculate the payroll for their local employees. Plus, they use other part of the technology is to identify and track time of the truck drivers who make deliveries and pick up equipment from or product from their warehouses or factories, which was a big problem for them because they estimate, let's say, from point A to point B, a truck will take 4 hours to deliver, so they can schedule the truck driver for multiple deliveries for the day. Now the driver was taking longer, so they know the guy who picked up at 8 a.m. is going to be at that location at 12 if it was not there, because he's going to be identified using iris. If he's not there, the questions will be asked what happened. So they have been able to really implement on-time delivery for their warehouses by identifying the worker's time. Then this is a little use cases for IT100. As you can see a video on the left, this is a little training session for the employees. The device is installed at a potato factory, and you will see towards the end of it. It is built by one of our partners who took our device. They built the application, sits on the device, and they identify the employees. So we have many different implementation, and all focused on time and attendance. Some they use out of the box application that we provide for clocking in and clocking out, and some they built purpose-built application for the IT100. As I mentioned before, we have many different applications where the technology is starting to get the inroads in security, of course, time and attendance, of course, delivery of social services, healthcare, pension distribution, voter registration, elections. We have countries where we are providing the solution for that. We have many border crossing applications. One of them, of course, is CLEAR. It's not border, but it is security clearance. And correctional facilities, we are across the globe in many correctional facilities. In US, we offer our solutions to the FBI and Department of Justice for many sheriff's offices across the world, of course, financial transactions, school registration, et cetera, and multiple countries use this technology around the world. Then from a product perspective, we have a full portfolio of products. Today, we're going to concentrate on workforce management from IRIS-Time IT100, but we offer technologies across the board with ID for ID management, access control, kiosk for different identity applications, etc. Which some of them are for one-to-many, some of them are tied to a passport, an ID card, a driver's license. We have many countries using our technology for enrolling for driver's license for the individual, so they don't have duplicate driver's licenses, etc. So now let's discuss IRIS-Time. We call our tagline for that is time clock for the modern workforce, and it is a time clock for modern workforce. We do not have any bias. You see a lot of talk about different biometrics that talk about biases of race and etc. This technology doesn't have any of those problems. It can work through glasses. It can work through with the mask. You can have in the Middle East, you have people wearing hijab. It works through that, even work through face covering, etc. So the technology is proven to work in those difficult and challenging environments. So what IRIS-Time and IT100 offers is iris and face implementation. They can be fused together or they can be used independently. We provide on-device enrollment. It has lots of security features, so nobody has to worry about what's going to happen to their biometric data. We provide a very foolproof storage security solution, and we offer multiple authentication modes so the customers can designate not the device. That device is going to be iris only or face only, no individual. So I can select the mode. Hey, I want to be identified with face, or I want to be identified with iris, because in general, all biometrics are human characteristics, so they may be an issue with 0.001% may not be able to use iris. So if they don't, they can flip it to face and it works fine. It is customizable, so you can build our application partners can build applications that can sit on that LCD, so it becomes very customized and niche to that application. We provide capture distances about 45 to 60 centimeters, a very comfortable distance for a workforce or a security device. It detects the face and iris together, and then we also can adjust with height. So if it is installed in a proper height, we can go and identify a person which is about less than 4 feet 9 inches, all the way up to 6+. So it is very adaptable to height and lighting condition in the building. And then on the operational mode, we offer out of the box from Iris ID. There is a managed mode and there is a standalone mode. A standalone mode, if somebody just wanted a one device and they just want to pull the transaction out, not very popular, but it's possible to do. Then the managed mode is that we offer a complete cloud-based solution or premise-based solution where they can install it, collect the transactions, and have them delivered to whatever system. both of them are, from Iris ID perspective, managed mode is more desirable for our customers than the standalone mode, but it is possible to do that. So in those modes, you can select iris only, face or iris, face and iris fused together. Or in some instances, we have customers who say, I don't want, for this end user, I don't want any biometrics. I just want to authenticate with the card. In some instances, that is very popular, because especially in Asia, the management doesn't want to do anything. They just want to put their fob up and walk through. So as I mentioned earlier, our goal with IT100 is to have you build an application. So we design a whole ecosystem, and the architecture for the ecosystem is to give you the ability to build an app, and these are our ecosystem partners today, and we regularly add new partners. So the idea here is that our customers are not going to be dependent on one individual company to provide the solution. They can go to any company that fits their vertical, fits their application. They have the flexibility to customize. So they pick the partner what they want to do. A lot of these partners that we have built, they also interface with major payroll companies. So of course, Paychex is a payroll company, but we have, for example, you will hear later from SimplyWorks that they can deliver the data, the transactional data to ADP, Kronos, and all the other human resource management system providers. So it was very important when we were designing this product that we built something that will allow us to build an ecosystem of applications that our end user can go and rely on to deliver their business goals. Now let's hear from Josh and Michael from Paychex and SimplyWorks about their thoughts on the product.
The technology that we've always wanted to bring to the market, and Iris ID has been an essential partner. We wanted to bring that to time and attendance, and we were able to work very closely together to get there, and we made it happen.
We've worked with Iris ID for a very long time, and they are definitely a very sophisticated and technological company. Everything they've made is very, very high quality. And I think that's another part of the picture is you have a very good biometric, but it's also in a form factor of engineering, which is very well thought out and a very durable product. So we feel very comfortable putting their product on the wall or in the hands of our customers because we know the engineering is at the highest level.
This is a little bit of an idea what our cloud-based application does. It's based entirely on REST APIs. You will be able to, and they can be globally. Company can be globally. Could be in San Francisco, Los Angeles, or Dubai, etc. And all those devices can deliver the data to one central location in New York if they wanted to. And all those can be managed from New York, where maybe your central data system is. And on the right-hand side, as you see, the architecture of the technology is as such that you will be able to communicate with the REST APIs, or you can build your application. The gray box indicates that you can build your application using our Android SDK, and then put that onto the device. And now it becomes very focused, individualized to a company application. Again, the functionality delivers a transaction dashboard. It has all device management capabilities. You know where the device is, what the IP address is. Oh, does it linked properly? The security parameters are there. You can add a user. You can do complete user management and monitoring of that, and also policy management. Maybe you have a supervisor. You can add Mohammed as a supervisor or John as just a user who's going to be authenticated. Then we have a complete audit trail. We also take a face image for every transaction. It's an option that you will be able to save that onto the part of the transaction. Of course, at that point, transactional database gets a little heavier because you are saving an image in it. But we provide all those options for our customers to be able to use that. Then from a connectivity perspective, of course, it provides you Ethernet, so you can connect to the web. It has WeGAN interface, so you can also connect the device to your access control system panel. through VGAN. Then we have a dry contact relay, which allows you to unlock or fire the door open. That sometimes customer doesn't have an access control. It's a very small shop. They want to just have the light turned on so they can use a GPIO, and they want the door open. They can just use the relay. All those interfaces are available from the back of the device, and there are attachment modules that we offer. From that, you will be able to drive PoE. You will be able to have a simpler power port, etc. So there are lots of options available for this device. And if anybody wants to visit our website, they will be able to see the product in action. Then again, the development tools, there are two sides available. One is REST API. So if you have a web-based application, you just want to pull transactions off the device, or you want to add user, and that application runs somewhere in the cloud, you'll be able to use the REST API. And if you want to build an application that sits on the device, we provide Android SDK. So it gives you a combination of development thoughts and ideas. We have some customers who start with the REST API, and as they get mature and their application get rich, they say, you know what, I really like to see this thing running here, so I don't need to worry about a constant connection with the cloud applications, etc. So with that, at the installation, I wanted to cover that. In this installation is as simple as hanging a picture. 4 screws, connect the power in the back and the Ethernet port, and you're ready to go. Or as sophisticated as having a light box in the back and connecting hidden wires, etc. So there are multiple options of installing the product on your wall. With that, I conclude my discussion and open for Q&A session. Thank you very much, Kevin. To you.